I'm Dr. Priyanka Wali, and we're here today with Dr. Ben Rein, neuroscientist from Stanford University, to talk about his experience with the Meru Health program.
Thank you so much for having me and for everything that Meru Health is doing. I think it's amazing.
So, Ben, I have a question about something related to Men's Mental Health Month. We know there's data to show that men are less likely to seek mental health treatments compared to women, and I'm curious about your experience as a neuroscientist and someone who went through the Meru Health program. How do you think the program could be helpful for a population like that?
Being able to identify that you're experiencing a negative emotion like sadness or anxiety, and then being able to use specific tools to reduce those emotions, being able to self-identify and self-regulate your emotions is so important. And so I try my best to encourage people to use resources like Meru Health. Outside of my role as a researcher, I also do science communication on the internet. On TikTok and Instagram, I make educational videos.
Yeah, I love your TikTok videos.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And so through my experiences on the internet, I've seen a lot of programs like Meru Health that are much less adherent to the science.
Yeah. And how did the HRV Biofeedback play into that for you?
I actually remember doing my first session, maybe it was a 3 or 5 minute session, and I went in the other room and I got my wife and I said, come here, you need to try this right now. I was just blown away by how good that made me feel. And I think that was one of the first experiences where I realized, this is a company that's not just bringing you like meditations and stuff, but also bringing you physical tools, like HRV Biofeedback and meditations and CBT to complement the entire process and make it as effective as possible. And you get to experience this sort of beautiful connection with like your physiology where you're conscious, you're awake, and you're doing this active behavior of breathing, and you're watching how your physiology is responding as your heart rate is fluctuating. And I think that experience alone is pretty amazing. It's beautiful to see your heart rate, but there's this whole principle of biofeedback and neurofeedback where giving access to internal states allows you to then regulate them. And that's what's so important about HRV Biofeedback is it gives you the ability to recenter yourself and to calm yourself and regulate your heart rate. That's what's amazing about Meru Health is that not only is it providing these tools that you can access at any time, but Meru Health is also doing the work to validate these tools for improving things like depression and burnout and showing that it is actually helping.
Right. What do you think were some of the tools that you learned that were specifically helpful to you in your experience?
Yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of the journaling-based CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy lessons and activities. I can't speak for all men, but I do think that what many men struggle with is introspection, sitting down with emotions and recognizing, how do I feel about that thing? Maybe you come home and you're angry and you're like, why am I angry? I don't know, something went bad at work, whatever, I'm gonna have a beer. But when you take the time to sit down and identify what you're experiencing and maybe sort of plot out some ways that you could address those feelings or dissect them a little bit further, that's a lot of what you're doing through the journaling sessions on Meru Health. And I found those to be really, really useful, and I think that a lot of men could probably benefit from them.
How do you think things changed for you after you finished the Meru program?
It allowed me to really step back and look at like the bigger scope of my life and like what am I spending my time on? Which of those things is valuable, which is not. I think people pay really close attention to like their physical sensations. Your brain is an organ, it's just like anything else, and sometimes the function of that organ can change, and that organ happens to control your mood. And so just as much as your brain controls your mood, you can also change your brain through things like, like there's biofeedback, neurofeedback, things like exercise and meditation, mindfulness. And I just really hope that people will take advantage of the opportunities they have.
Well, Ben, I really want to thank you for coming in and talking to me today. It's been such a pleasure, and I'm such a huge fan of your work as well.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you bringing me in here.
Yeah, it's been a real pleasure. And thank you to our viewers also who have stopped in as well. We'll see you next time. I'm Dr. Priyanka Wali.